everybody, welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to Apparel. And this will be blog series number 2 because I'm going to be doing discussion and showing some things on my layout. So this will not be a podcast where I do just discussions and then end it. I will be showing different things. Today we are going to discuss the comments that I received on my Help Wanted video for my Apparel summer update. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the comments and I will go through each comment and then answer questions or tell you my thoughts on your ideas and suggestions. So this is in reference in what to do with this section right here. I mean, this is my problem child. So yeah, when I originally started building this and adding on back in in 2015, I had no idea it was going to grow this big and that I would want to add 072 track or curves. So here we are. I got 072 on the outside, but I want to put 072 on the inside as well. And that's where my Help Wanted was video came out because I wasn't sure how to accomplish this. Alright, so we'll go down through the comments and see what everybody said, and then I'll let you know my thoughts. So, once again, this is for my video, Your Help and Advice Needed on Apparel Summer Update, because I'm not sure exactly how to accomplish what I want to do here. Right now I'm 072 outside, I'm 054 on the inside. I was thinking of going 080 outside and 072 inside, which I've got completed all the way around the whole layout almost, except for this area here. And also, just to be aware, I have not made any progress whatsoever since my Tennessee trip, because once I got back I had an SD card full of videos I had to produce, so I really didn't touch Apparel in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's been a while. Alright, so D. Kemper, and hopefully I get you guys' name right, because like I said, I am terrible with names. If I wreck it, sorry in advance. Either try doing 072 on both curbs, or one option that would really be cool is to do 080 to make the inside 072 instead of tearing out the roadway. You could leave the road and make it so the train has a bit of street running like some towns have. The street running would give a really cool modeling scene, and that not many people do happens in real life, and in some cases really close to old houses and other buildings. That sounds like a neat idea. I really haven't thought about that. So what he is suggesting. So let's take a look at this. So once again, we're at 072 and 054 still. I have not made any progress. So let's take a look at once again how this would look with 080 and 072 laid on top of it, and everybody get a better idea of what's going on here. Okay, so I laid the 080 and 072 track on here so we can continue our discussion. I just laid it over top, so as you've seen in my Help Wanted video, this is the path that 080 would take if I decided to switch it to 080, and this is the path that 072 would take. So his suggestion is to go ahead and do this, and then mainly do some street running. So I could probably take this road and put it where this 072 is at, and have the train run down the road. So that's a cool idea. I mean, maybe even follow the curve around the street. Who knows?
Um, so yeah, that's a pretty interesting idea. It truly is. All right, so let's look at some more ideas we have from the viewers.
All right, so let's move on to the next comment, and that comes from Steve Andragon. Hopefully, I got your last name right. In my opinion, and to add the larger radius curve and let present scenery stay is to extend your layout leg to the right, where your what looks like a humidifier will give you plenty of space in the long run. No worries running larger locomotives. Love your layout, great job, and thank you. So let's take a look at that idea.
So I don't know if that help wanted video showed everything, that all the obstacles. But if I was to take this corner, move it to the right, one of the problems would be it would be in the path of my wood/coal stove. This is a working unit. I do use it for emergencies when the electric goes down. It does have a flat top on it for cooking. I have done that one winter. You know, without electricity and the dead of cold is something you don't want to have happen. I don't have a generator. So what I'll do is I'll light candles, put my food in a ice chest, pack it with snow, and cook my food on top of the stove, and then I have a heat source. So I have everything covered for when things fail in the wintertime. It's not my main source of heat, but I do use it. And you're supposed to have, for those who not know or don't know, a minimum of 3 feet before from your source. And check your different codes, because I'm sure codes differ from state to state, city to city. My code is the heat source can't be any closer to this layout than 3 feet. And if I kick this out any further, then it'll be into the path of where I gotta bring in wood and all that stuff if I need to fire this thing up. And when you're carrying stacks of wood, that's not a fun thing to do, is to walk around obstacles. I want a straight run to my heater. So I don't know if you've seen that or not. I have thought about extending it, but I don't want it in my path of the wood stove to bring wood down.
Alright, this next comment comes from Country Bunkers Trains. He's a new channel to the YouTube community. He does O-Gauge, does some cool stuff. He's been through some upgrades himself. So, it's a channel that I've been watching, and real cool guy. So make sure you check out his channel and subscribe to him. I think he does some great stuff. Cool runs, and he seems like a good guy. But anyway, he says, is it possible to expand the layout out a bit past towards the furnace after having 082, which he did convert over to 082? I wouldn't want to go back, get rid of it. I'd go forward with installing the 080. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I think it'll be worth it. You won't be at the very minimum recommended curve for every engine that is rated with 072 minimum. And as I previously had already mentioned that to somebody had already made the same comment before that, similar to that, is I really don't want to extend that out and be in the path of my wood stove, because I do use it in the wintertime, and I don't want to have all this wood carrying down and then have to jog around it, and hopefully I don't trip and fall into it. And then, not only that, but the heat, there's a fan on that wood stove that nobody sees that has strong fans in the back of it, and it takes the heat and it pushes it forward. So if I put the layout in front of it, I'm afraid that all that heat will just dry the wood out, or it's not something I'm a little leery of doing, I guess you could say. A little worried about that. Alright, next reply comes from Judy Olson. Why not extend your layout 1.5 feet so it'll be less trouble? And once again, if I go this way, it's just at 1.5 feet. Obviously, it would be in the path of the wood coal stove, which I do use in emergencies. It does have a fan blower motor on it, so the heat source will be constantly blowing up against it. So, once again, it's an idea that I really don't want to put. I don't want to go any further towards in the path of that coal stove. All right, so the next one comes from Ray at Golden Leaf Railroad. I would make the layout table larger to run the 080 if you can. Large trains and passenger trains will look better. Maybe let the 054 be a sidetrack, and he got 2 likes on that idea. Alright, so let's take a look and see about extending it this way instead towards me, and I'll show you that obstacle.
So let's say I extend it this way instead, and not going out any further this way and into the path. I just keep that same line and bring it this way towards me, I think is what he's meaning. If I do that, and I think this would answer that question perfectly. So if I brought that line and extended it this way without bringing it more towards the heat source, if I was to go this way, I have the room to do it. I mean, I can close down this walkway even more. The problem would be is I'm afraid that once I come this way, where this ends up, I'm going to have, if it came out here, I would have to end up making an S-curve to go into the next room, as you can see, because this is where the 080 curve would end. And if I brought it out here, okay, then there's not enough room to make it inside the wall. I would have to actually come out here, kick it that way, then kick it back around this way and inside. So that's the next dilemma that I'm facing. Because I have thought about bringing this out, but then I'm like, that's going to create an S-curve. Alright, so remember I gave 2 different plan options. Plan A, do I go 080 and 072? Or Plan B was to leave the 072 and to take the 054 and go to 072. And just leave this outside 072 as well. Alright, so that was one of the 2 options that I was thinking about. Rob Denunzi, if I wrecked your name, sorry. Plan A would look horrible on your existing benchwork. I think even if you were to expand the table to make it look and fit better, you would have an issue getting back to the lift out. Bridge. Plan B will look so much better on the table area you have and would make a much smoother transition to the lift out bridge. Your end goal, as indicated in earlier videos, was able to run anything you own on 2 loops. The lesser being 072. Keeping some 072 turns on the outer loop is keeping to that plan. Running 2 curves of 072 side by side would only be bad if the turn went 180 degrees. You were only going 90 degrees, so the only difference is you will have to start
the inner loop a little sooner than if you had 080 on the outside loop. And that was evident when you laid the track out to show Plan B. I vote Plan B. It will look nice. You won't have to disturb the town scene. It will satisfy your operating goals. And he got a like on that comment. So, I thank you for that nice, in-depth comment of, why you thought this plan would work and why the other plan wouldn't work. You put a lot of effort into this comment, and I really appreciate that. And I think you're absolutely right, because if you just look before I talked about your comment, I had mentioned that if I was to extend this layout towards me, keeping this same distance this way, but extend it this way, that I'll extend it so far that it may not even be possible to make it to the lift-out bridge unless I use an S-turn, and which I would not put another S-turn on my layout. I tried, when I went from 054 to 072, I put an S-curve, 2 S-curves in. I had to do a redesign to get rid of them. The S-curves are not a good idea. Avoid them if you can. West Side Rail Fan 41. Dakman, it looks like as if Plan A would require a major reworking of your layout scenery. Plan B does seem to be easier choice, especially if you intend to upgrade all the curves on your layout to a new, larger radius. Ken. Alright, Ken, thank you very much for that comment. Once again, Plan A was 080 outside, 072 inside, or do I change it to go to Plan B, 072 outside, 072 inside, just on this end of the layout, the trouble area. So that's just to remind everybody, because it has been 4 weeks. Tommy Fred's Trains, he votes Plan B, 072. He got a thumbs up on that one. John Goldschmidt, I watch all your videos and have for quite a long time now, mostly because they're always also somewhat educational and I learn a lot from you. Thank you very much. I also like your demeanor and your approach to everything you do. This is the first time I'm leaving you a comment, but my vote is Plan B. I don't think 080 curves looks right on that part of your benchwork, and losing part of your neighborhood, well, if it was larger, I'd say okay, but I don't think you should. Your scale trains will do just fine on 072 outer section, and you will now also have 72 intersection. That being said, thank you for all your great videos. I really enjoy watching them, and all you have offer us model railroad, model train enthusiasts. And thank you very much for that nice comment, and thanks for going through the efforts of making that comment. Let's go on to Alfred Victory. Put a bridge over it, dropped it back down. Let's see what he's saying. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. So in other words, he's thinking about putting a bridge over this and then drop it back down. I don't think there's enough room to do that, actually. To get it up, even if I came up here, I would have to get it back down pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm not sure if raising this up and bringing a bridge over all this is going to work, because there's not enough room to bring it back down again to get across the dropout bridge. So we'll take a look at that real quick. So if I was to take this outside track, make this 080, and then raise it up in the air, it would need to come back down again at a steady level, but I don't think there's enough room to bring it down
at the rate it needs to be to get across that dropout bridge, because it's like the dropout bridge goes right there. So yeah, I don't think there's enough room to do that, but it is a good idea though. Alright, so the next one comes from Jeff Babbitt. I have been watching your channel for a couple of years now and love your layout and switching operations. If it were me, I would add this 72-inch on the inside, as you should, but enlarge the table area to accommodate the 81-inch, but that is me. Keep the videos coming. And thanks for your suggestion. And I'm not exactly sure how it would, at this point in time, how I'll be able to accommodate the 081, add on to it, I mean, because like I said, whether I go this way, it's going to be in the path of the wood stove. If I come out this way, it'll create an S-turn. Somebody suggested making it raised up and then going over it with trestles. I mean, that was a cool idea, but there's not enough room to make it gradually come down an incline to get across that area with the dropout bridge. Aaron's Trains says Plan B. Slagcat, Chesapeake, Ohio. He's a viewer of many live shows. It would make more sense to make both 072, and it would look better that way. Everything would be the same to the bridge. So, kind of like agreeing with that. Because I still, well, we'll talk about that here later. Van Durham Media Works. I met him at the Heath's meet and greet at the Northlands. He says, personally, I would choose B, which is both 072. It will provide a better approach for the inside loop to converge for a double track bridge and will have minimal encroachment on the town. Plan A, while nice to have a large curve, will force the creation of a lot of unsuitable real estate on the layout as well as a lot of work. If you did go with A, you could continue the road to the right, on the right, straight, and create a second grade crossing. But I don't think there's enough room to continue the town in that area that is left at the edge. Okay. And thank you for that suggestion and comment. Vincent. I'll just say Vincent P, because I know I'm going to wreck that name. He says go with Plan B. Plan B being 072 inside and outside. Just in this area. And then Vincent makes another suggestion. Can you extend the layout at that area that you might be able to put 080 and 072 in on the inside track, and then you might not have to lose any of the town? Just a thought. And he got 2 thumbs up on that idea. But as I mentioned, if I go this way, it's in the path of my wood stove, which is a live stove. And it does, I do run it in winter emergencies. If I go this way, then I'm afraid it's going to create an S-curve. If I go up, which seems that only one person so far mentioned that, going up, I don't think there's enough room to get the proper incline to come back down and get across the bridge. Going up and over all this instead of tearing it out and putting it flat. So, and that was an idea I haven't even thought of, going up. But G Lock Riders. Hello. Stick with the Plan 080. Longer straight back at the passenger station. L brackets off the edge of the existing
bench work. Happier brother Dakman in the end. Layout looks fantastic. Thank you. Thanks much. But if I do that, the problem is it'll be too close to the working wood stove. Code in town is, in my city, you're only allowed to have something no closer than 3 feet to a heat source. Heath at Human City Junction. He says, Plan B. That said, I'm not sure how much you would really gain from the 080 unless you were having a lot of issues. Just put the 072 on the inside. Disclaimer, not no scale modeler. And Heath, if it doesn't work, can I blame you? That's an inside joke going with Heath, but Heath at Human City Junction, he's got a cool channel. He's involved with a show called Sidetrack Sunday, so check that out. It's all train related. He also does a ton of live shows and how-tos. He's in the N scale and Z scale, so he's using T-Track. So if you need to know any of that stuff, just go over to his channel and he'll show you all the things that you that can be done wrong, because I think he pretty much did a lot of wrong things. But that's okay. We all learn and live. You know what I mean? You learn by your mistakes and we move on. That's what's different about Heath on a serious side, is that he's not afraid to show you the mistakes he's made so you don't make them. So go ahead and check him out. Andy D. Are you doing a double track bridge? Yes, and he's referring to my lift out bridge. So yes, I am planning on doing a double track lift out bridge. Andy D says he would leave the inside alone. He would leave it at 054. So that was his suggestion. Randy Jacobs. If 072 isn't giving you a problem, leave it. Leave it be and do the 054 switch to 072, Plan B. Okay, thank you, Randy Jacobs, and he's another one who's I see a lot on live shows. He's on Ogage's Facebook group. So hello, Randy. Kurt's Trains. Plan B is the way to go. Running in the forward direction. There are very few locomotives and rolling stock that won't negotiate the curve. Running backwards, you might see some issues with very large units on the 072 radius. Enjoy. So yeah, I don't plan on backing up here. As I try to keep all my sidings, on near straight track, so I'm not backing up and around curves. Wayne Bright. Hard to say for sure, but from the videos I've watched, I think you may have some difficulty with making those two curves leading onto the lift-out bridge, and from the peninsula and on the other side of the aisle also. And I agree with you, it does look that way. It may put some of the curves onto your lift-out bridge, which could cause you some alignment issues down the road when removing and installing the bridge. Now he comes up with a Plan C. My suggestion, Plan C, continue the curves past the station across the peninsula at an angle to the lift-out bridge. This will allow you to keep lying straight across your lift-out bridge and make your curves on the granary side of the layout a little shorter. Yes, it will slightly shorten your main line and you would have to redo your suburban area, but I think you could change your main street and town to still run parallel with the tracks. You would just have to make a T intersection after the road crosses the tracks from the businesses industrial area to the residential area. It will also give that feel that your trains run through the town, not just around them. If you still wanted to do a trolley line, as you've said in the past videos, you could run it where your outer radius runs and turn it to connect to your 054 line. But maybe it might go down a grade to cross under a new route. You could then make your other trolley station at a lower grade than the main line, thus giving a little more depth to the layout. And he gets a thumbs up on that comment. So that's an interesting idea. Let's check that out.
Alright, so what I think he's talking about is shortening this up here and making this so the curve comes around and goes in a straight direction towards, and you can see, I probably should put the lift up bridge so you guys can see this a lot better. Hold on 1 minute. Alright, so I got the lift up bridge in so we can track this a little better. So he's talking about shortening this curve up here so it's not so far, you know, putting in curves here at the station, I'm assuming. And then coming across town at an angle this way. And you can see it would, the track would go probably where that house is at. And then come across, there we go. Come across that way towards the lift bridge rather than going around the town, go through the town. And of course, you could do the same thing with the inside track, come through town, and then realign the town so you would have houses on this side and houses on that side of it going this way, houses going that way, and the trains would actually go through the town instead of around them, which is a rather interesting idea as well. So people are actually putting in some real thought into what they think and why, and I really appreciate that. Alright, John Oliver. If it were me, I'd go with Plan B, unless there's something you really want to pick up in the future that won't run on Area 72. Or you could start off and do the inside track with Area 72 and walk away for a bit and come back and see how you like the two Area 72 curves look together. If you don't think Plan B looks good, then it would be easy enough to go back to do Plan A. And he gets a thumbs up for that comment. Thank you very much. That sounds, yeah, because right now I'm kind of like unsure, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Timothy DeMarco says, fun. So yeah, it's always fun to do planning and building and stuff like that. Like I said, I have no interest in tearing everything down and starting all over again with a plan. You know, when I built this in 2015, you know, originally I had no clue what I was doing. You know, if I was going to stick with O-gauge, because I just got back into it, if I was going to be high rail, if I was going to be traditional, I mean, so I just put everything on a 4x8 sheet of, you know, 4x8 sheet of plywood. Got that finished, and I'm like, this isn't big enough for me, so I made another little side section, 4x4, and then basically had an L. So I had a 4x8 and then a 4x4 pushed up against it, so I had an L running. And you can see that video on my YouTube channel. And I was having a blast. But at that point in time, I mean, that's just something I put together, and I just started adding on to it from there. I didn't look at any track plans or anything like that. I mean, I know a lot of people like, you know, you should always check out track plans and this and that. And
Nah, I just wanted to do a freelance. I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to follow anybody else's steps or track plans, whatever have you. And, you know, basically this is what I came up with. It's, but then eventually I went to high rail because I wanted to run scale trains only on this layout. And that was the avenue I took. I keep my semi-scale or traditional train separate and on another layout. So unfortunately, when you're running scale-sized trains, you got to have the curves for it. Especially when you get into 86-foot high cube box cars and the scale-sized Lionel 89-foot auto racks. You better have 072 on your layout. And you know, that was something I found out the hard way because I went 054. Thinking I could run anything, but that wasn't the case. You know, I was pulling off long trains and in a curve. Because I like to run long trains. I like to have, I'm the person that likes to have 3 locomotives and about 30, 40 cars. That's the train for me. I mean, if you're a person who likes to run a single locomotive with about 10 or 15 cars and that makes you happy, fine. But with me, I gotta have multiple units. You know, 3 locomotives, 30, 40 cars, and I'm happy. Because basically, you know, that's what I see a lot. You know, if you look at our railroad today, CSX, Norfolk Southern, you're seeing 2 and 3, 4 locomotives on the front end, depending on how long the train is. But not to make this video any longer. At this point in time, I'm still undecided. I'm not sure. I don't want to rush into this part of it right here, but I still have to finish up that other end. Like I said, I haven't done anything to this layout in 3 weeks. And let me show you what I got to finish, and then we will say goodbye and so forth and so on. So I still have this area to finish up here. Still got to ballast it, re-level it, so forth and so on. The same thing here. Still got to reballast this, do some wiring work, finish that up. So okay, thank you for watching.